these past few weeks have been chaotic for the SNP. The veil of pretence of the last couple of decades has been ripped away, and it's been like that scene in The Wizard of Oz when all is revealed and the people of Scotland are left saying, "We can see you." And a week from now, we will have a new leader of the SNP. So this could very well be the last time I have the pleasure of speaking in a debate opposing Shirley-Anne Somerville in her role as Cabinet Secretary for Education and Skills. Who knows? We've had our differences, and whilst she is a political opponent, she is not and has never been my enemy. And so, regardless of what transpires next week, I, in all sincerity, offer my best wishes to her personally. And extending this conciliatory tone, I'm pleased to say that there's a great deal of consensus that can be struck around this important subject we're debating if we push aside the usual dollop of hubris in the government motion and in the Cabinet Secretary's speech. We will support the government motion tonight and the Labour amendment, and I hope the government will support both of the amendments, because Scotland flourishes when the opportunities of our young people are maximised. For their futures, and for all of our futures, we need to address the significant challenges facing our nation. The need for better productivity, the need for skills to take advantage of automation, artificial intelligence, the transition to net zero, and an increasingly volatile global situation. It is why, Presiding Officer, that we should look at the Choice, Attainment and Positive Destinations Exploring the Impact of Curriculum Policy Change on Young People report, published recently by Stirling University and the Nuffield Foundation, because it speaks to a need to ensure that Scotland's young people get the broadest possible general education, covering the broadest possible range of subjects. We can't afford to narrow their choices, because we need the talent of every single child regardless. And that's why the shortages, as I highlighted already, the shortages of science, technology, engineering and mathematics teachers must be addressed, and why we need to do everything we can to attract people with specialist skill sets into the teaching profession. We need inspirational teachers, teachers to lift the gaze of our young people and show them a world of possibilities. Now, the Scottish Government Social Research Report, The Impact of Scotland's Developing the Young Workforce Strategy on Education, which was published last week, speaks well on the need to move beyond the attainment of qualifications and focus on meta-skills. Now, a big part of my leadership role in business before I was elected to public office was about building talent. It's about recruitment and retention of talented people, and employers are always on the lookout for people with skills in teamworking, group leadership, thinking outside of the box, and problem solving. And there is a real cost to business when they can't recruit skilled people. There's a cost to there's the cost of recruitment itself, but there's also the opportunity cost of lost productivity down to poorly skilled workers and missed business opportunities. We need businesses engaged in our schools. That's clear. And we do our young people a grave disservice when we fail to properly expose them to the real world of work. We fail them because we don't allow them to see the vast possibilities that exist for them. We fail them when we don't help them understand the world of work is crying out for people who have their talents and skills and passions. That is why we need to expose our children and young people to the world of work. And I can't see why we can't do that from the earliest years. Play is a very effective way to make that introduction. We can give our young people a vision of their possibilities and reinforce that vision by bringing them into contact with a whole variety of businesses, sectors, roles and careers choices throughout their years of broad general education, and then help them to be personally equipped with the confidence and the resilience and the skill sets they need to take advantage of the opportunities that exist. Businesses can and must make that investment in our classrooms. No doubt, it's in their best interests to do it. But we must be sure that when businesses make the investment, when they prepare to provide support, that they don't come up against a brick wall, that there aren't barriers to getting into the school. And while there are examples of schools opening their doors to the local business community and interacting with all kinds of businesses and organisations, there are also places where none of this happens, and that must change. There cannot be a postcode lottery in matters as important as these. The social research paper finds that a barrier to curriculum-based work-related learning is that teachers feel overburdened as it is, and that they lack the confidence and the resources that they need to build work-related learning into their lessons. So we need to support our teachers to help them make this possible, because this is the kind of innovative approach that shows what Scotland's educational experience should be. It needs more support. It needs to be rolled out across our nation so that all of Scotland's young people can benefit. We need wider recognition of the importance of sound career guidance from S3 onwards. And I welcome the work that's being done in this area, but I want us to go further. We also need to recognise the importance of personal mentoring, especially in the senior phase. This shouldn't be a tick-box exercise. We should draw on all available talent from across the community, from businesses, professional bodies and organisations in the area. And I have nothing but praise for all those already mentoring young people across Scotland, very often in a voluntary capacity. Let's over-invest in helping young people, see that their options are what their options are, and helping them get to the places they want to get to. We will all be winners when we help them to win. But there is a disparity that is holding us back. Traditional ingrained attitudes towards technical subjects and technical and professional qualifications are holding us back. Too many people still believe, that there is a best pathway for a child, and that pathway involves passing hires, advanced hires, and going to university. And for some young people, that is the best path for them. But there are other paths, and those paths are just as good.
Emma Harper.
Wow, thank you, Presiding Officer. Thank you, Stephen Kerr, for giving away. What you're talking about is just making me think about what's happening locally in Dumfries and Galloway, where businesses are engaging with schools. Jas P. Wilson and Dalbeattie is one of them, and the kids are being valued for choosing whatever path they want, which might not be uni, it might be the vocational skills. So would you agree that actually there is work being done out there that is talking about exactly what you've been on your feet going on
the
the
last
few minutes? Thank you. Apologies, Presiding Officer.
Stephen Kerr, and I give you the time back.
Thank you. Emma Harper is right. There is indeed some really good work going on, but it's not equally distributed across Scotland. And there are gaps. And those gaps should be a priority to fill. Possible educational experience. I would say, Deputy Presiding Officer, that as long as I'll just do this one last point and then come to you. As long as we hold on to these old, out-of-date ideas about the value of different pathways available to young people, we are going to hold ourselves as an economy and as a society. Stuart McMillan.
Stuart McMillan.
Stephen Kerr for taking the intervention. And similar to what my colleague Emma Harper just said, when I know sitting in Inverclyde, it's obviously my party don't control Inverclyde, but there is a lot of great work taking place. So can Stephen Kerr actually name the local authority areas where there's a problem that he would like to see fixed?
Stephen Kerr.
Well, I'm not going to do that for obvious reasons. That's not the purpose. I don't think that's a very good use of my time in the speech, but I give way to the Cabinet Secretary.
Cabinet Secretary.
In the spirit of consensus, just in case is our last debate, Presiding Officer, can I welcome Stephen Kerr's remarks on this, and can I encourage him, if he has not done so already, to read the interim report by Professor Louise Hayward, which is very much trying to get to how we not just see one right or successful way through school, but there's a myriad of ways we can do that, and we must reform to be able to capture that in its widest sense.
Stephen Kerr,
I agree with the Cabinet
Secretary. Remarks to conclusion shortly.
I agree with the Cabinet Secretary in respect to Louise Hayward's work. I look forward to the full report when it comes out, I think, in May, and I look forward to that very much. So, as I bring my remarks to conclusion, I would like to challenge the Government. If the Government truly wants to ensure parity of esteem, and I think we all do, then it does have to start with parity of funding. We should be fully funding our young people's choices, whether they go to university, college or into an apprenticeship. And this would go a long way to address the funding issues that our colleges have. That is the real world. And I hope that the the Minister responding, will not seek to deny there is a financial challenge. But what I'm doing today is making an appeal to social justice and the common good, because this is about equality of opportunity. That's what's needed, regardless of who you are, Deputy Presiding Officer, what your background is, which postcode you live in. You can achieve what you want. You can be what you want to be. You can do what you want to do. That is what being a young Scot should mean. That is the philosophy on these benches. And we will support all measures to make that a reality for every young person in Scotland. When we invest in our young people, we invest in the future of our nation. To have a Scottish education system worthy of its heritage, worthy of the young people it serves, then we must build a system of education which offers diverse opportunities for young people to engage with work, with different ways of learning, and with the possibilities that the future holds. I urge all members to support the amendment in my name.
Thank you,